Hi, this is Jill, and this is the closing to the practice. If you've been following along so far, I've taught the opening, sun salutations, standing postures, handstand preparation, seated poses, back bends, and now the closing. That being said, if you want to do any of these practices individually or mix them up in any way that works for your body, feel free to do that. And if you really like this series and want me to continue teaching it, please subscribe and hit the like button. Also, if you have a comment or a suggestion, please let me know. Let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start where we left off in Dandasana. So the legs in front in Dandasana, and just sit up nice and tall, staff pose, right? Make sure your hips are right over your femurs, right? So you're not tucked back in your pelvis, and sit way up. Then we're gonna grab a block, or maybe two, and we're gonna come into a restorative forward bend. So Paschimottanasana, relaxed Paschimottanasana. So you can place one block or maybe two, depending on how tight or loose you feel. And again, establishing the hips nice and stacked. We're gonna come forward, and then instead of pulling our bodies forward, go ahead and just start to round and let your head drop down onto a surface. And just start to notice how this feels in the back of your legs. So if this was a little high, you could move the block, and maybe you wanna gently grab the feet if that works for you, and let the head hang again. But notice I'm not pulling my body, right? I'm not pulling forward. I'm just relaxing into the pose. But it's important to keep your legs engaged as you do this, because by engaging the front of the legs, you'll feel more, just a really nice stretch to the back of the legs. And we're trying to really keep our legs straight if that's possible. Just letting your head hang. Make sure there's no tension in your neck and shoulders. You can stay here for about 10 breaths maybe longer if you need it. And then inhale when you're ready, rising up. And now we're gonna hold on to one of the blocks and sit way up. We're gonna use this block to really push the hands into it, and we're gonna come into a roll back. So sitting up nice and tall, pushing the block in, and really pressing through the big toe mound of your foot, you're gonna start to curl back. So curling the tail under. We're only going to go part way back. We're stretching the spine, but we're engaging the front. So by engaging the front body, we're stretching the back body. Curling, maybe just to about right here. Exhale, and we'll curl and come back up. We're going to do that again, but we're going to add a little twist. So we curl back, pull the belly way in. Now imagine you were serving hors d'oeuvres on a platter. You're going to turn and offer the platter to the left. Come back to the center, turn, offer the platter to the right, come back to the center, and then curl and come up. We're gonna do that one more time. We're gonna curl back, right? And then turn to the left, but somebody is way over there who wants one. So you reach, and then you bring it back. And guess what? When you turn here, there's somebody way over there. You reach, you bring it back, and then you come all the way up. Now we're gonna go all the way down to the floor. Exhale as you curl the spine, stretching the spine back, curling the belly in. You could use your hands if you needed to come down. You could even use your elbows maybe, but curl all the way down. And then once you're down to the floor, just take a moment here. We're gonna bend the knees now. So with the knees bent, you can have your feet a little wider than hip width here. We're just gonna take the arms out to the side so you feel the chest open. And then from here, it's kind of a windshield wiper motion where we're gonna drop the left knee and then let the right knee follow. You can take your head either straight up or to the right, and then let the right leg come up, left leg follows, and we'll go the other direction. So the right knee falls, the left leg follows. Maybe you turn your head to the left, and then come back up, left knee, right knee. We'll do it again. Left knee, right knee, turn your head to the right if that feels good. And then right leg up, left leg up. And then other side, right knee, left knee, turn the head to the left. Pause, just notice what's going on. and then left knee, right knee. Now we'll go back to the left, starting with the left leg falling over, and right knee. Now from here, we're going to take the left ankle and cross it on the top of the right knee and just pull down. You can either look straight up or to the right. And maybe you're feeling a nice lengthening across this right hip, all the way down the side. And then just stay in this as long as it feels good in your body, trying to keep the shoulders relaxed down. And then when you're ready, you can release that, let the legs come up, and we'll go to the other side. So now the right leg falls over, the left leg falls over, and then you take your right ankle right on top of the left knee and pull down. You're pulling down this way, right? And feel this nice stretch on the side, right? The side of your hip, maybe the front of your hip. You can take your gaze to the left and just stay here as long as it feels good in your body. And then when you're ready, inhale, coming back up. And now we're going to come to a bit of a glute stretch. So we're going to cross the right ankle over the left knee and then gently pull the left thigh towards you. You can use the elbow on that right leg to really try and open the knee or the inner thigh out. You should be feeling, and then pull in towards you. Make sure there's no tension in your neck. And you want to feel a nice stretch right in the glutes, right back here. Right, and pull in as much as feels good in your body. And again, notice there's no neck tension. Just breathe into it. Deep inhalations, deep exhalations. Keep pulling in. And as you're ready, you can go ahead and release. From here, we're going to take a tight squeeze. So this might be hard, right? Because this gets right to the piriformis, a deep glute muscle. We're going to cross the legs tightly and see if you can grab your feet. And then you're going to pull the knees in towards you. You can play around with the lengthening your feet up and pulling your feet back and just feel, where is that stretch and how intense is it? You feel it right deep in that right glute area, hopefully. And stay with that as long as you need to. Just breathing into it. Breathe. And then we'll slowly let go. Crossing the right ankle again over the left knee. Arms out to the side, and we're going to take a gentle twist. So we're going to let the right foot come over to the left. So just let the foot come down to the floor. You can change your gaze to the ceiling, or you could look over your right shoulder, but keep trying to find length in that right side body as you gaze over your right shoulder. And again, you're going to stay as long as feels good in your body. Take a few more breaths, right? And then let everything come back again. And we'll do all that on the other side now. So starting with crossing the left ankle over the right knee, using your hands, we're going to pull that right thigh towards us. And then use your left elbow to open that left knee and pull in as much as feels good, right? And breathe into this. Just notice what's going on. Are you feeling release? Inhale, exhale. Remember, we're just letting go, so don't overdo. Just feel a nice stretch. It might be a big stretch, but it feels good to stretch the hips usually. I know it does in my body. And then we're going to go ahead and cross real deep as you can, and try and grab the feet. This one's intense. You might feel it deep in this glute area. And then pull in towards you. You could play around with bending and bending the knees more or straightening the knees more, just whatever feels better in your body, right? Just notice that and stay in that and breathe. A few more breaths. And of course, stay as long as you need, and then slowly releasing. And now we're going to cross the left ankle over the right knee again, and arms out to the side. And we're going to take this left foot over to the right, down to the floor, and feel this lengthening of the side body. You can work to kind of try and open that left knee a little bit. See how that feels. And breathe. You can take your gaze to the left and stay here again as long as feels good in your body. And then slowly coming back again, taking the foot down. Take a moment to pull the knees up into the chest and curl up. Just see how that feels for a moment, and then slowly release. And now we're going to move down the mat a little bit. just to give us some room over our head. And then grab a block. This is gonna be restorative legs up. So it's an inversion, which is really nice because it reverses the blood flow of standing all day. So let's go ahead and lift up, place the block. I like the low level and the lengthened level, so put it right under your sacrum. And just pause for a moment. Notice, can you roll the shoulders back? Make sure your neck is long and you're not scrunching into it. So just find that for a moment, and then very slowly let the legs come up and reach up to the ceiling. Wow, I automatically can feel the blood flow changing, right? It's coming down this way. It feels really nice. And try your best to straighten your legs as much as you can. And then notice, is your pelvis neutral or your ribs coming out? So maybe you can pull those ribs back, or your legs is your pelvis tucked under? Try to find neutral and just stay here and keep the legs strong. They're activated. And you can stay here as long as feels good in your body. Or if it's accessible to you, a few of my clients and students have osteoporosis, so I do not recommend halasana or plow pose or shoulder stand, which I'm about to teach to them. But if it feels good in your body, you can go ahead and try it. Otherwise, just stay here. You will benefit. Exhale, we're gonna roll the legs over if it's accessible, and find a plow pose that works in your body. You could even use the wall and be higher, right? Is whatever works in your body. And stay here and try and straighten your legs. Don't turn your head like I just did. Try and keep your neck really long. And then from here, you stay as long as you want. Or if you wanted to, you could support your back and maybe work your way up to shoulder stand. I'm not gonna look over to the camera because we wanna keep the neck really long. So it's not mushed in, it's not back, it's just really long. And activate the legs. I would stay here for about 10 breaths if it feels good in your body, and then start to work your way down. Right. Just work your way down. And once you get here, you can bend your knees. This is kind of nice. Karnapidasana. It feels good in the body. It's the ear deafening pose where you squeeze your ears. And then some of you might still be supported with the block and have your legs straight up. That's great. We're going to join you here. So we come back to this place. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and bend the knees, take the feet down, and just work to straighten your right leg. And straighten your right leg and make sure the leg isn't turning out. Get a sense of almost turning in or pressing through the big toe mound and it's a nice lengthening on the hip flexors on the right side. It's not too intense, just feels good. And then we'll switch sides. Pull the right leg in, the left leg comes out. Make sure you're not turning out, you're pressing through the big toe mound, right? So you feel the hip flexors on that side and the ribs are in. No arching in the back. The neck is long. And just feel a nice stretch. And then we're going to bend both legs. And then we'll take both legs out and see how that feels. Press through the big toe mound. Remember that, so that we're not turning out. There's a nice rolling in kind of feeling with the tail under and the ribs in. And it should feel like just this even stretch on the top of the hips. And just notice that, just become aware of it. And stay, again, as long as feels good in your body. I'm gonna go ahead and bend the knees now. And then we're gonna come into Supta Baddha Konasana. So we're gonna go ahead and let the knees go out, right? And feet come together. Again, notice, is your butt sticking out and your ribs pulling up? Can you pull them down? Just kind of play around with this. You could even move the knees a little up and down if that felt good. And then find a place that you just want to hold it there and maybe release. So I'm gonna stay here and you could close your eyes and just let the knees relax open. You could stay as long as you'd like, as many breaths as you need here. I'm gonna go ahead and take the legs together now, and we're gonna come off the block. So have your feet hip width, lift the pelvis up like a bridge, right? Make sure your neck is long, take the block out, and then we're gonna shift the hips to the right. So the hips come down to the right. We're going to let the knees come up, take the arms out to the side, and take both knees over to the left. So you're trying to stack that left knee over, or the right knee over the left knee as best you can. It doesn't have to be exact. And then reach out long through the right shoulder. If the shoulder comes off the floor, that's okay. You just try and work it back down. You can bend your elbow on that right side. And then gaze, if you can, over the right shoulder, or if that's too much, just straight up. And stay with your breath here. Notice how when you exhale, you might be able to turn and surrender a little bit more to the left. And maybe your head will go a little bit more to the right. And inhale. When you're ready, let everything come back up, and we'll go the other way. So now you're going to lift up, shift the hips to the left, let the knees come up, and take everything over to the right. Take your right hand. You can take your right hand on your left knee and pull it over. It doesn't have to be perfectly stacked. And you'll see my left shoulder is up a little. That's okay. I'm bending the elbow makes it a little easier. I'm drawing it down now, taking my gaze gently to the left. And I'm gently turning my right ribs to the left every exhalation. And I exhale and it feels like I can turn more. So just keep breathing into this and take as long as you need here. And then when you're ready, we're going to inhale, bring everything up, and you can tuck your knees into your chest again, maybe even curl up, and then we're going to take everything into Savasana, the final resting pose. Savasana means corpse pose. So we just leave the physical body and just go into that bliss of letting go. And stay here. Stay here in this vibrant stillness. And you can stay here as long as your body needs, as long as you have time for, and just enjoy the stillness, the relaxation. I'm going to bring you out of it now, but please, feel free to stay, like I said, as long as you need. So to come out of the Shavasana, just draw your attention to your breath. The inhalations, the exhalations, start to become aware of the breath. And then we'll start to move the fingers and the toes, just starting to feel alive, but don't change the energy, right? Stay with it. Then we'll start to slowly bend the knees, and then slowly bring the knees up to the chest, maybe again. And then we're going to roll everything over to the right side. So just let everything go to the right. And then let your body come over in a nice fetal position and just hold on there for a moment. Take your time. You can use your hands when you're ready and come on up to seated. So we'll come on up to seated, and seated might look like this for you. That's okay. Any way you can sit up nice and straight. I'm going to go ahead and turn so that I can face you. And whatever, coming into that comfortable seated position, we just take a moment here. Close the eyes, sitting up tall. Just take a moment to reflect and to notice how you're feeling, where your mind is, the effects of the practice on the body and the mind today. And just stay here as long as you need or can. And I'm going to take us to the very closing now, but feel welcome to stay. Taking the hands to prayer position, just take a moment to bow in, noticing that radiance, that light, that openness. Namaste. The light in me bows to the light in you. And let this radiance carry over into everything you do.